Welcome to another session of Numeriscope Academy, whereby today I want us to look at cost accounting. And before we proceed, I would like to welcome each and every person to this session. It is Numeriscope Academy, Mr. Steven here. And today I want us to look at cost accounting. That is our unit tonight. And I want us to look at a question that is going to be looking at the material issue and stock control. When you talk about cost accounting, let me try to give a hint of what you are going to discuss here. When we were looking at the definition of cost accounting, we say that cost accounting is measuring, analyzing, and reporting financial and non-financial information related to costs that are used in the production of goods and services. So anytime you are accounting for costs, that is what exactly what you'll be required to do. You'll be using various methods that are going to be used in cost accounting. For example, in our case here, I want us to look at something that we call material issue and stock control. And material issue and stock control, it is simply you have your stock that you have bought for the production of goods and services that are going to be used in the company, or they are going to be used in the industry, whereby you are going to produce various goods and services. So when you talk of material issue, when you are issuing materials from the store to where they are being used, you have to use various methods, or you are going to use different methods that are going to be used when you are doing that. Again, this method is also going to help us to regulate, or maybe to control the stock that are going to have in your stores. So this time around, I want us to look at material issue. That is going to be our subtopic at the moment. So we are going to talk about material issue and stock control So this is what you're going to look at. And I want us first of all to look at the various methods that are going to be used, and then thereafter you're going to look at this question using the one of the methods, and then the others are going to be looked at later on. So material issue and stock control, you're going to use four main methods. There are other methods, but at the moment we're going to look at the four main methods that are used in material issue and stock control. And the very first method you're going to look at is we are going to have the FIFO method. The FIFO method. And for the FIFO method, this we say it is first in, first out. So in this case, we mean that whatever has come in, or whatever that has been purchased as the first one is the one that is going to be taken out of the store as the first one. So that's why we talk of first in, first out. That is called FIFO method. Number two, the opposite of that, we're going to talk about last in, first out. So it is called the LIFO method. So it is last in, first out. So that is the second method about the material issue and stock control. We are also going to have another method. We are going to talk about the weighted average method. Average method. So this is another topic that is another method that is going to be used when you are doing the material issue and stock control. And then we have another one that is called the simple average method. A simple average method. The simple average method. So those are the four major examples of the methods that are going to be used anytime you are working out any question that is dealing with material issue and stock control. Therefore, I want us to look at one after the other. And today I want us to look at the very first one, that is known as the FIFO method. And for you to understand much better, we are going to look at this question. And when you look at this question, we are now going to use the FIFO method, and then the others, we are going to have other examples that are going to be used in working out each and every method that we have on the board. So very first, I want us to look at the FIFO method. And when you are using either of these methods, you're going to prepare something that we call the store ledger card. So the store ledger card is the one that is going to be used to determine the closing stock after the activities of a whole month. So in our case here, we are talking about the month of April. Before we proceed, I would like you to take note that for you to start a month, you'll be required to first of all check whether there is any stock that has been left, that was left before you go to the following month. So before you proceed to the following month, was there any stock that was left in the store before you proceed? So that one has to be put into consideration, because we can purchase so that we have adequate stock that is going to be used, so that whenever anything that is going to be needed from the store to be used in the production department, then you'll be required to issue enough for the production. Therefore, we need not to have any shortage in the store. Therefore, we'll keep on buying. You keep on purchasing these items or these materials, and after you purchase them, that is now when you have ready materials for use in the production department, or maybe in the production of goods and services. So I want us to look at the very first method here, that is called the FIFO method. So that is what we are going to look at. So FIFO method, it is first in, first out. First in, first out. So I'm going to specify here that we are going to use the first one, the FIFO method, and we are going to have this question now put in that store ledger card, and worked out just the way it is supposed to be worked out now using the FIFO method. So anytime you get this question that is asking you to prepare a store ledger card using the various methods, that is the 4 methods, this is how you'll be required to do. So you'll be required to draw a table. You draw a table like that. Ensure that you divide this table into 3 bigger equal columns. They can be equal, but again, we are going to have this one becoming smaller than the others. And you are going to have that anytime you do a purchase, you are given a receipt. So in this case, you are going to have the receipts are going to represent the purchasing. So you're going to be given a receipt when you purchase these goods and services, these materials that are going to be used in producing goods and services. So we are going to represent this one by receipts. Then we are going to have the issues. So when the units or the whatever that you have purchased is going to come out of the store, that one we are going to refer that one as issue. Then from there, we are going to have the last one is going to be referred to as balance. So these are the balances. Now, for the balances, it is going to carry 2 major or 2 important parts, which is going to be what do we have, or what has been left in the store in terms of the items, and then those items that are in the store, what is their value? Therefore, for the balance, it is going to represent now what is the remaining, how many units are remaining in the store, and again what is the year worth. Therefore, on the side of the balance, you have to record each and every transaction. Is it a receipt, or is it an issue? So we after that, we are going to have the transactions date. Then we have if the date, and then we can have the quantity, and then we have the price, and then we have the amount. So we have the quantity, we have the date first. We have to record all the dates. Then how many units are going to be used? So quantity, how many are going to be purchased. Then we are going to have the price. What is the cost of each and every item bought? And then what is the total amount? What is the total amount for that, for those items? Then on the side of the issue again, we are going to have the date. We have the date here. Then you are going to have the amount, and then you can also have maybe the quantity. In this case, you can see that I have not written the column for the price, because when you are issuing, the price is going to depend with which one, where did you get those items from. So you're not going to have the column for price when you're given the quantity. For the side of the issue, when you are issuing, then you are going to have you are not going to have the column for the price. Then you can have the date. You can have the date. We have the quantity. So we have the date here. We have the quantity, and we have finally the amount. So in that case, you are good to go. Having drawn this is what we call a store ledger card. So for this case, a store ledger card is going to be to comprise of three major columns, that is the receipts, the issue, and the balance. Then the three are going to be subdivided into smaller columns: the date, quantity, price, amount, and all that, for the three columns, for the three major columns. Now I want us to look at this question, and as you look at this question, I want you to pay attention mostly when you're doing the issue. The purchase does not have any problem, but when you're issuing, it is always important that you note that whatever came in as the first one, depending on the method that you're going to use, so first in, first out, whatever came in as the first one has to go out as the first one. That's why it is called the FIFO method, the first in, first out. Now, we look at this question now. This information is what we are going to indicate, or we are going to represent all those activities in this store ledger card. We look at this question. The following information is related to item P003 stocked by 2000 products remitted for the month of April 2000. Now, before we proceed, I want to talk about the month of April. So before we started the month of April, you must be having in mind that you might be having some stock that was left in the previous month, that is the month of March. Or this information is going to be given at the end of the question, or it can also be given at the beginning of the question. Therefore, it is always important that you note that this information can be got from any part of the question. It can either be at the front of the question, or maybe at the beginning of the question, or you can get at the closing of that particular question. So consider that there was maybe there can be some units, or there is some stock in the store by the start of April. Before we start purchasing, expect that you can be having something. So these are the activities for the month. The date 4, we had receipts, so we had purchases of 2,400 items at a price of 18. We have date 6 and all that, and then there is some information down there whereby you're being told that the closing balance for the month of March 2000 was a batch of 3,000 units received at a price of 19 shillings. And then you've been told that calculate the closing stock for the month of April. Now, since we have this information about the closing stock for the month of April, for the month of March, that is what we are going to start with. Assuming you have 1,000 shillings by the time you are going to sleep this day. Tomorrow, if you are going to gain anything else or you are going to add any other amount, you'll have to consider that you had 1,000 shillings that you had yesterday. So if you are going to add 500 shillings the following day, then it means that you're going to have now a total of 1,500 shillings. But you have to consider, or if you have a record, you have to record that you had, before you slept, you had 1,000 shillings. Therefore, record that information. So the closing balance for the month of March was March 2000 was a batch of 3,000 units. So we can record here that the month of March 31st, we had 3,000 units. So 3,000 units that we are valued at a price of 19 shillings. After you record that, ensure that you have recorded on the side of the balance, because we said that you must ensure that you have recorded each and every transaction, and you have to record the side of the balance, how much you are having or how many units are you having. So you have to record that March 31 we had 3,000 units. Now the price it's going now to depend if one unit is being valued at 19 shillings. What about now 3,000 units? It's going to be having how much in total? So it is going to be 19 multiplied by, or 3,000 multiplied by 19. You get this one is going to be 57,000. So you record that 57,000. So that is what you're going to have. That is going to start now, whatever you're going to record on the store ledger card. We proceed now to the month of April. We have date 4, and date 4 we have receipts of 2,400 units. Now it means that you have purchased, therefore you have to record on the side of receipts. So that is on date 4. So on date 4 we have 2,400 units added to what is already in the store at a price of 18 shillings. So at a price of 18 shillings. So this one is going to give us a total of 2,400 multiplied by 18. So it is 2,400 multiplied by 18. This one is going to give me 43,200. So this one is you record what you have done. Again, I've said that if you record on the receipt side or the issue side, you have to update your balance before proceeding to the next one. So you are going to have on date 4 we purchased 2,400. Now in the store we had 3,000 units. We have added 2,400. So I'm going to have now a combination of 3,000 and 2,400 that is going to give me now a total of 5,400. Remember, we are recording now the balance. So if I want to know what balance was I having by a certain date, I'll just go to that date and look at now the figure that has been recorded, or how many units have been recorded on that particular date. So that now from there, I can say by date 4, I had a total of 5,400 items. So you're not going to record 2,400. You are going now to record a total of 3,000 plus 2,400, which is now giving me 5,400. So what about now the amount? The 3,000 units were worth 557,000. Now I have added another stock of 2,400 items valued at 18 shillings to get a total of 43,200. So you're going to add that to the final amount that we had there. Now to update the balance that is going to be in the store at that particular date. So this one is now going to give me that I have now 5,400 items valued at 200 shillings. So that is on date 4. So we go to date 6. Very important to note that when you talk of now the issuing, when you start issuing, it is always important that you note that things are going to be they're going to change a little bit, because when you are issuing, you do not just go directly and issue whatever you have. For example, now we have 3,200 units are going to be issued on date 6. So this is what we have. So 3,200 units are going to be issued. But remember that the method that you are using here, it is FIFO method. FIFO method, first in, first out. So we are going to consider what was there initially, or what was in the store before anything else happened. That is what we are going to issue as the first one. Look at now my store ledger card. My store ledger card is telling me that I had only 3,000 units before, and I'm supposed to issue 3,200. So I'm first of all going to take, so it is on date 6, record that. On date 6, I initially had 3,000 units. Now 3,000 units are the ones to be issued first, because I did not have more than that. So I'm going to issue everything that was there on the 31st, and then I mark that I have exhausted, or I've used everything that was there on 31st of, or maybe by 1st, or maybe by 2nd, or maybe by 3rd, because before anything else happened, we had 3,000 units. So 3,000 units are going to be issued at a price of 19 shillings, because that is where we have gotten that from, at a price of 19 shillings. Then from there, I am supposed to issue 3,200, but I've only issued 3,000. Therefore, I still have 200 units to issue. Those ones are going to come from the ones that are there on date 4. So I'm going to have now 200 units being issued at a price of 18 shillings. So this one is going to give me 3,600, and this one is going to be 57,000. So those are the ones that I'm going to issue. This one now gives me a total of 60,600. So that is why I have recorded now the total amount. But this one is now going to be, the batches are going to be subdivided, since you cannot issue more than what you more than what you had. So if you are still together, we can proceed. That up to that point, we have issued and we have purchased. If you have issued, then whatever you have issued has been recorded. Or if you have purchased, then you have to ensure that you record each and every transaction, or each and every activity for the month. So remember, after you issue, you have to record. So on date 6, that's why I'm using a different color. So on date 6, we issued 3,200 units, and we had a total of 5,400. So you're going to have 4,400 minus 3,200, a total of this total, which is going to give me 2,200 units, and we subtract 6,600 from 100,600. So we had a balance of 100,200. You minus 6,600, which is going to give 39,000 600. So that is now the balance as at date 6, as at date 6. So up to that point, I think we have recorded each and every transaction or each and every activity for the month, for the date up to date 6, or for the month of April up to date 6. Then from there we can proceed. We go to date 12. So date 12 we purchased. So you are going to record that. That is on date 12. Date 12 we purchased how many units? 2,600. So it is 2,600 units being purchased at a price of 20 shillings. So 20 to get 52,000. Record that on the side of the balance. So on date 12 we added more units to 2,200. That is what we have as a balance, and we have purchased 2,600. This one is going to give me 4,800, and then we add, this is 39,600, which is the total balance of what is in the store, and I have added another 52,000. 52,000. I think I should use a red here. So this one is date 12. 2,600 at a price of 20 to get 52,000. So that here we can have, we are going to have on date 12, we have purchased another 2,200, so it is going to be 4,800. Add 52,000 here, you get 91,600. So that is now the balances that we have up to date 12 of April. Now we proceed. We want to go to date 14. 14th of April, we issued 2,700. So for the issuing, I'm using a blue. So issue, that is on date 14. I'm supposed to issue 2,700. Now, it is always important to note that whenever you are issuing, you have to start from where you stopped. Which are the units that had been left up there? Which ones were remaining? Those ones are supposed to be taken as the very first one. So they have to be given that priority. So remember, we had a balance of 2,200 that we are there on date 4. On date 4, whatever was purchased on date 4, we have only used 200. So we still have 2,200 remaining, and they're supposed to issue 2,700. So I am going to use the whole batch. So 2,200 that was remaining at a price of 18 shillings, and then the remaining are how many? 2,700 minus 2,200, which is going to give me 500, and 500 times they are going to be gotten from what was purchased on date 12. So we have exhausted on date 4. We have used everything on date 4. So on date 12, 2,600 minus 500 at a price of 20. This one is going to give me 10,000 here, and 22 multiplied by 18. 22 multiplied by 18. This one is going to give me 39,600. 39,600. Now the total for this, it is going to be 49,600. It is issuing, therefore it is reducing. Therefore we have 2,700 subtracted from the units 2,700 that you have issued here. These ones you subtract from 4,700, from 4,800. So it is date 14. We are issuing 2,700. Therefore, we are going to be left with only 2,100 items, or 2,100 units. Then the side of the amount, we are subtracting 49,600 from 91,000. From 91,600. So 91,600, you minus 49,600. This one is going to give me 42,000. Very good, 42,000. So that is we have already issued, and these are the balances that we have in the store. We have 2,100 units at a price of 4,000 for the 2,000 in total. So that is what is going to be in the store. It's going to be of value 42,000 shillings. So from there we proceed to date. So we have done the issuing on date 14. We go to date 18. We purchased. So date 18. So 18th we purchased 2,800 units at a price of 21 shillings. Again, you record on the side of the balance. So you add 2,100, which was the balance. You add 2,800. So this one is going to be 4,900. That is date 18. And then from there, the amount should also be updated. We have now 2,800. That is whatever you have purchased at a price of 21 shillings is going to give me a total of 58,800. So 58,800. We record that. So you have added 58,800 to 42,000 to give us 100,000 and 800. So we have 100,800. So that is what you're going to have up to date 18. So after that, we go to date 20, whereby we issued 2,200. So you come here and say it is about issuing. So we are going to record on the side of issuing, which is good date on the 20. So on the 20 we issued 2,200. Now we have to check first what was remaining or what has not been exhausted. So on the 12, what was bought on the 12 has only been used. We have only used 14 on the 14. We have only used 500 units from this. So we still have 2,100 as you can see on the side of the balance. This is what we were left with after issuing. So we still have 2,100 that is going to be issued, and we want 2,200. So it means that you are going to issue everything that was there on date 12 on the 12 year. So it is going to be, we have 2,100 is what was remaining at a price of 20, and then we want a total of 2,200. So we still have 100 to issue. So we are going to take that 100 from date 18. So we have exhausted that. So it is 100 multiplied by 21, and then we get the totals. We get the totals for that. So we have 2,100 multiplied by 20. This one is giving me 42,000. And then this one is going to give me 2,100. So the two are going to give me 44,100. Record on the side of the balances. That is on date 20. Date 20, we have issued 2,200. So if you issue 2,200, so here you're going to be left with 2,700 units left at a price of. Now this 44,100 has to be subtracted from 100,800. So it is going to be 56,700. 56,700. So that is what we're going to have as my balance on data. That happened on the 20. So with this information, at least the flow, it just we just want to know what is going to be left in the store by the end of the period, that you have been given. It is the month of April. Therefore, we have to ensure that step after step, if you record as per the instructions. So we go to the other one. So we are done with this one. We go now to date 22. So date 22, on date 22, as you can see, on date 22 we purchased 2,600 items. So on date 22, record that we purchased 2,600 at a price of 23. Again, record on the side of the balances. On the 22, we purchased 2,600. So you have added 2,600 to 2,700, which is going to be 5,300. and then you multiply. We purchased 2,600 items. You multiply by 2,600 items multiplied by 23 per item, which is going to give me a total of 59,800. So we add that here. So plus 56,700. 56,700. This one is going to give you 116,500. So I've already purchased that. So I'm done with the date 22. I go to now. I go to this other date, that is on date 25. This day 25 we purchase we issued 3,800 units. So we record that on the side of the issue. I said the issue is not going to be, you are not going to be given the price, because the price is going to depend with where are you taking that batch from, or where are you going to issue that batch from in the ones given in the question. So we go to date 25. So date 25, we are issuing a total of 3,800 units. But if you look at what was left in 2,800 units that we are bought on date 18, we only used 100 units. So we still have a total of 2,700 to issue. So before we issue anything from anywhere else, we are going to consider that the 3,800 has to come from 2,700, and that's what we are going to do for the very first time, or maybe that's what we are going to do at the very first thing. Multiply by 21. Multiply by 21. Again from there, we ask ourselves, having issued 2,700, how many more units are supposed to be issued? So I have exhausted what was bought on date 18 by issuing 2,700. That was remaining from what was bought. Therefore, I still have more. So I'm supposed to issue 3,800, but I've issued 2,700. So I still have 1,100 units to issue. So 1,100 units to issue that are going to be comfortably be accommodated in what was bought on date 22. So it is going to be multiplied by 23. So this one is going to give me that is 2,700 multiplied by 21. Multiplied by 21. Multiplied by 21. The first one is giving me 56,700, and then 23 multiplied by 11, I think it is going to give me 253. That is 25,300. Yes, 25,300. This total is going to be 25,300. You add 56,700. This one is going to give me 82,000. That has to be recorded on date 25. It has to be recorded. So we have issued 3,800. So it is this one subtract from 5,300, which is going to give me 1,500 units that are going to be left from this what was purchased on date 26 on the 22. Okay, so it is going to be 2,600. We have only used 1,100. That is 1,100 from what was bought on that day. So it is going to be, you subtract now the amount 82,000, you subtract from this, so that now we can have an updated balance for the period. So it is going to be you have I think it's going to be, is this 34,500? Let me confirm. So 116,500, you minus the answer, you get, yeah, exactly, you get 34,500. So that is simply what we are going to have what you're going to have up to date 25. Up to date 25. So we have already issued. Now we still have other activities for the month. So you can proceed to the next step. Now from there, we have the 26, 27, and 28. This one is only talking about the purchasing. So we are going to do exactly that. So that is on date 20, 26, and date 27 and 28. We purchased 3,100. We purchased 2,500 and 3,200 respectively. So at prices of 24, on the 27 we had 25, and then we had 26. Now let's get these values. We purchased 3,100 units by 24. You get 74,400. So you go to the next one, 25. This is 62,500. And then we have the last one. It is that a 200 multiplied by 26. This one is going to give me 83,200. We record that one on the side of the balance. So we have date 26, 27, and 28. We have added to 1,500 3,100 units. So this one is going to give me 4,600 units plus 25 to 2,500. This one is going to give me 7,100. Again, we have 3,200, which is going to give me 10,300 units. We have recorded that. Then the amount we had a balance of 34,500 units. You add 74,400 to get 108,900. You add 62,500. You get 171,400, and then you add 83,200 to get 254,600. So that is simply what you're going to how you're going to record these transactions or these activities for the month of April. Now from there, now that we have issued, we have purchased on the 26, 27, and 28. We have on the 29, we are supposed to issue a total of 6,900 items, or a total of 6,900 units are going to be issued. Going to be issued. Now, for that issuing, we are going to ensure that we know where we stopped when we were issuing those number of material, that number of materials from our store ledger card. Now, on date 22, we were left with 1,500 units that have not been issued. That is what you are going to start with. Because we want a total of 6,900, and this one cannot carry everything, we then very fast we start with that. So that is on date 29. Record on date 29. We have to issue these ones first, and then we exhaust this. So 1,500 units are being issued at a price of 23. That is one. Then I have now I have to subtract 6,000. You subtract 1,500 from 6,900. So just some rough space down here. So that we can get the exact units. So we have 6,900. You subtract 1,500, so that we can see what you have. So we have 5,400 to be issued. Now 5,400 units or 5,400 units are going to come now from the ones that we have purchased later, that we have purchased at a later date after 20 after the 22. So we are going to issue 5,400 from the one that is following. So now that this one only had 3,100 units and we want 5,400, now that it cannot carry everything, then we issue the 3,100 units, all of them at a price of 24. Now what is remaining? So I subtract 3,100 units from this. You're going to get 0, 0, 4 minus 1, 3, and this one is 2. So we have 2,300 units to be issued. So those ones are going to come from date 27, because 27 we had 2,500 items, and after subtracting 3,100 from 5,400 units that we are remaining when we issued 1,500, then we are going to be left with this. So we are going to have to stop at this one, whereby we are going to issue 2,300 units, 2,300 units at a price of 25, at a price of 25, at a price of 25. So from there we get now the totals for this, for that, and for that, and then we add them up. So we have 1,500 units multiplied by 23. We are going to have, this one is 34,500. Then the other one is 24 times 3,100. It is going to be 74,400. Then on date 29 again, we have 2,300 multiplied by 25. This one is giving me a total of 57,500. So we combine all these to get now the total amount that was issued, which is going to be 57,500. You add 74,400, you add 34,500. This one is giving me a total of 166,400 shillings. And then from there we record on the side of the balance. So we have on date 29, we have issued all these number of units, and we have subtracted 6,900 from 10,300. So it is, we had a balance of 10,300. You subtract 6,900 units to be left with only 3,400 units that are going to be in the store by the end of the month of April. So if you have to go to the next month, remember that you'll have to carry 3,400 units that we are left, or that we are remaining in the month of April, because you already have something that is going to be there in a store, and you have to record that one in the store ledger card that is going to be prepared for the month of May. So it is going to be uh, it's going to be now we subtract 166,000. So it is 166,000. So it is 254,600. You subtract 166,400, which is going to give me 002 8, and then 8. So it is going to be 88,200. So you are going to be left with 88,200. So that is simply what you are going to have. So let me see whether we confirm whether we have separated properly. 14 minus 8, 6, 8. Then 14 minus 6 again is 8. So we are going to have now 88,200 is going to be our balance for what is remaining in the store. And now that one now comes to the end of our question, because we have recorded all the activities that are there for the month of April, and we have prepared the store ledger card that we were supposed to prepare. This is all what was remaining. Now that is all what was done in the month of April. Now if you were to continue, if you were to issue again, remember we could have come to the 27, or if you were to do so, you would come to the date 27, whereby we had a balance of it was 2,500, but you have issued 2,300. Therefore, the month of the date 27, we had a balance of 200 units, because we had a total of 2,500, and we have issued the last batch was only, or we have only taken 2,300. Therefore, we have a balance of 200 here, and this that is 200. So we have 200 plus 3,200. Now that's why you are getting 3,400. So you may wonder where this 3,400 is coming from. You just need to come here on the 27, whereby we had a total of 2,500. We subtract the whatever you have issued for that date, and we have issued 2,300. Now we take that 200 that is remaining, you add to the following day, which is 3,200 plus 200 units, to get a total of 3,400. So after that, the question is telling you to calculate the closing stock for the month. That we have already looked at that. We have already looked at maybe the closing stock. The closing stock is 3,400 valued at, or it is going to be the value of the stock is going to be 88,200 shillings. Now you are going to have this information, or this statement should end your question, that the closing stock for the month of April is 3,400 units valued at. If you talk of valued at, it is per item or per unit. And how do you get that? It is going to be 88,000, which is the total value. You divide by 3,400. Is 88,000. 88,000. 200. 88,200. 88,200. You divide by, so it is 88,200. You divide by 3,400 units. 3,400 units. This one is going to give me 25.9. So this is going to be valued at 26 shillings. Valued at 26 shillings. And that one now becomes the final answer for my question. So that is about the FIFO method, the first in, first out method. And this is simply how we are going to record all the activities for the month of April. And that is what we are going to have as the final answer. So in our next lesson, we are going to look at the LIFO method. That is the last in, first out. Remember, this one is now going to be the opposite of what we have done. Therefore, it is as easy as that, and I wish that you follow me, so that we can look at the other method in our coming lesson. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, it is Numeriscope Academy by Mr. Steven, and remember to subscribe, to like, to share, and enjoy the videos that I have already posted. And also, the most important thing is to benefit and be able to handle each and every question that is going to come your way, that we have already made that one easier. So it is a goodbye for now, till we meet next time for our next session. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.